the closing table with Ayanna and Nikki. I'm Nikki. This is Ayanna.
Oh, that makes me laugh every time. I'm sorry, we're going to edit that out. Thank you guys for joining us. We are so excited to have you tuning in because we are being joined by a wonderful person that we both love to talk to us about some amazing things with home staging. We are joined by broker owner of First Town Real Estate and visionary owner of Personal Space Interior Design, Elizabeth Baca-Ranieri. Thanks for joining us.
That's my great pleasure, you guys.
Great.
Liz, thank you so much for joining us. This is such a fun topic. It's one of my favorite things to discuss. How did you actually get started in staging?
So I got started in staging more than 15 years ago. I was in Hoboken, New Jersey, and I had taken my Realtor's license, but the market was so hot, we could barely hit the market before everything was already under deposit. So I was talking to one of my friends. I'd always been interested in interior design. And my friend Nick said, I have this property. I want you to stage it for me because I know you're into design. So I want you to stage it for me. And, you know, home staging is something that I've been hearing a lot about. And so he kind of turned me on to something that I really didn't know about. And I took a class on home staging. It was like a 5-day course. And that property that we staged for Nick sold before it ever hit the market. It sold right from the broker's open house. So that really launched 1,000 ships because we ended up just really doing a lot of staging. Staging was not big in that area at that time. There weren't really any other stagers. So what we did for that property was very total. It was sort of gutted, and we painted, we brought in furniture, we changed the lighting, we put down the cabinets and put up new cabinets, and we took it really beyond what maybe home staging would be today. But what we did showed such tremendous value that it was so undeniable that it caused this sort of chain of events that really led to us staging almost like 3-4 days a week, that's a lot of properties. And in that small area, that was just like a really huge way to get into that business.
That is so awesome. Sometimes you just kind of happenstance into just an amazing multi-million-dollar company, right?
Crazy how sometimes that just happens. It's the kind of job that's very labor intensive, as you know. It's very active. We're always talking about ways that we can make the property appeal more broadly and reflect a higher lifestyle that that buyer really wants. Because I don't have to tell you that the buyer has to look at that home as a place that they want to aspire to, a place that they want to be.
Oh, great. And that leads us into the next question, right? Because last episode, we were able to touch on it, but it's great to speak to an expert. So why should a seller stage their home?
Well, there's a lot of benefits to staging homes that you guys have already seen, right? We get higher prices, higher asking prices. We get better terms. People tend to move faster on the house because it looks so much better. They don't really have to think about all the things that they're going to do. The way that the staging sort of quells the mind of the buyer in thinking like, this house was well maintained. This is the kind of lifestyle you can look forward to when you live there. All of that really is what lends itself towards why the seller should sell. But the number one reason is the money. We're doing this for the return on the investment. When we were doing this in Jersey, we were making $7 for every dollar that we spent on staging. And right now, what we're looking at, we don't quantify it that way anymore. The way I quantify it now is how much higher than the comps will the house get? Because as realtors, we list the price, we can list the price in a variety of strategies. But what we are seeing is that when we stage the home, we can now ask for the highest of the range of reasonable prices. Right. And because we can do that, we can still get over asking. So what we're seeing is between 12 and 18% higher closed pricing over the comps, not over asking, because that's not a good judge, over what the comps are showing. So you're talking about a 12 to 18% increase in the perceived value of the home based on how we present the visual of what the home is.
That's amazing. When you actually start, when you decide to, or an agent or comes to you, or someone comes to you and decides to stage a property, how do you decide like what pieces you're going to use, or what rooms in particular should be staged?
I have an extensive inventory, I have several thousand square feet of, furniture and accessories and stuff. So I do have a lot of choices, but the most important thing is that the house still has to reflect its architecture. The house still has to reflect, much of what the house is, meaning like we couldn't put like Miami Beach furniture in, a Cape on Root Avenue. Like it just wouldn't make that kind of connection that we need to make with the sellers. So there has to be some sort of like tangible, this feels like my vibe plus, to the next level. So it's about sales price. What is the range? What is the sales price range of this home?
Right.
That tells us a little bit more. How much embellishment are we going to put in there? What are the buyers really going to expect? What we're trying to do is we're trying to meet a buyer's expectation in like completeness of what they see, but also, like I keep saying, like this sort of elevated sense of like, ooh, this would be such an upgrade to the way that I'm living right now. Eclectic is key. Everything has to feel tangible. If everything's so expensive, it won't feel like your house. So we mix in a variety of traditional, contemporary, and we're reasonably eclectic with the artwork and accessories. So it feels like someone built this life. It doesn't just feel like you walked into a furniture showroom where like the sofa and the chairs and the pillows all have the same pattern. It's not like that. It has to feel dynamic and alive.
Right. So how do you decide which rooms in particular you stage?
That's a great question. When we're staging for two reasons. We're staging for the photos.
Yep.
And we're staging for the in-person walkthrough experience. So I always stage for that buyer's experience. I walk through the house and it's the first few key rooms that I see. We always stage that first like 15 seconds of the walkthrough. So in a center hall colonial, you walk in, you're going to go to the right to the living room, you're going to go to the left, to the dining room, you're going to walk straight ahead, you're going to have the kitchen, you're going to have you're going to have a family room, and then maybe upstairs we'd also do a master. And the reason is because you want your potential buyers to really see a snippet of every aspect of his lifestyle. You want them to see a finished bedroom, you want them to see a finished dining room, you want them to see a finished living room. Those are really the most important rooms that we stage. But more important than the rooms is the pathway that we took to get to those rooms. Right. Because we have to stage in a continuity where we're not staging one random room down here and another random room, because the homeowner, the buyer will see so much house. They'll start to say, how come this room's empty? And how come that is not? And it'll end up not actually making the connection that you want it to make. So it's really about that walkthrough, those seconds that you're seeing the first areas of the house, and then it's for the photos. Right? Because those photos that live on your listing have to also be dramatic from the angle that the photographer took it, even if that's a completely different way than you walked in through the front door. They still have to have a connection between the imagery that was on the website or the imagery that's on your listing and what they see in real life. That connection is very pleasing for them. You've seen a lot of the other way around where maybe there's something in the house in the photos, you get there's nothing there. It's such a different feeling.
Yeah, it's funny. Ayana and I were just talking about this on our last episode in regards to decluttering. When you first walk in the house, it's like that first 10, 15 seconds, what a buyer's going to feel. And I think that the staging definitely can help, put a big impression on what someone's going to feel when they walk in the house.
Yeah, people have the memory of something, can be very important. So when we're thinking about the way that we're staging the home and the things that we're putting in, we're being mindful of what those elements conjure and, what it might make people think about. So, okay, so we stage with books. And so we got to make sure that the title of the book is an acceptable book title, because like The Way We Die is not a book title. I'm going to put on a desk. No, my mother was reading that book, so like, these are not things I would stage with. We're staging with things that are uplifting, that lead to curiosity, that show an open, mindedness in terms of design and style. Like, that open-mindedness is important, but that comes from like all of the little suggestions we're putting around the space, the accessories, the books, all of that kind of thing. It's all by design.
You're right, because if you need to be able to be open to so many different types of buyers, whatever that may be, whether it's price range, it's religion or race, or they're like a wide range, ages, a wide range. And so being able to kind of pinpoint that, or being open to it, is really great.
The experience, right? It's the experience you're giving, right? Yeah. And it goes across all of that Nikki just suggested, right?
Yeah. It's all about the experience. It has to smell right. It has to look right. The light bulbs all have to be there. They have to be able to see the room. It's the experience. And when you think about it that way, you remember when you bought your house, you remember the things you were thinking about, you remember that experience, and some people are have the ability to, project the vision of what it could be, and others can't. And hence staging, because if we weren't able to do this, we would be losing a huge segment of the market that really needs to see it. And we know there's a lot of people that need to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Visual learners, right?
Right.
Some people just can't dig the blank canvas. We've got to splatter some things on the wall, right? So people can catch what you're throwing, right?
But it's beyond that. It's also contextual, because how do you tell how big something is when there's nothing in the picture to give you any reference? So the context of the staging really helps people understand, how big is that room? Do you think that closet's going to fit my stuff? Like, so many of the questions that they have to pre-chew before they actually call you to see that listing, they're getting that from your images, from all of the images that you're sharing with them.
So cool. I love this stuff, don't you? Right?
I love absolutely.
So you don't just stage. Tell us more about personal space and everything else you're doing with all your businesses. Share with us everything you've got going on.
Oh my God, we don't have enough time for that. But, a personal space, this is the 16th year of personal space. We have, moved over $1 billion in real estate, in creating model units, staged homes. And then, we do a lot of the common area spaces for new construction and, for existing, buildings and larger communities, because our focus is on how to make comfort at home, right? So we want people to feel comfortable, because the interior design bent is totally different from the staging, right? The staging is a little bit more generic, a little bit more universal, whereas interior design typically is personal. It's 100% personal. It's about getting what you need around you so that to support the life that you're living. So we've been able to work on, so many different kinds of projects, large projects of like 500 units, small, homes, vacation homes. Our priority is always to work with your actual life, to try to give you the support that you need to be creative, be successful at work, be able to homeschool your kids without losing your mind. Being able to provide some sanity in spaces for ourselves. So sometimes that's on a bigger scale, where we're working and we're doing a common area spaces for a multi-unit building, because we're saying, I want to give you a place where you can hang out, where you can sit down, where you can read your book, where you can wait for your Uber, where you can, do these different things. And so we have to be really getting into the headspace of who lives here. And that's what we're all about, is trying to find out more about our clients so that we can continually give them that which is going to elevate their life. And right now, that's a variety of different things. Like for interior design this year, there's been so much going on, obviously COVID has changed the way that we do our interior design business. So we're so much more virtual. And we're really thinking about how to create spaces at home so that you can be working from home in a way that we never imagined we'd be working from home. So it's about getting people back situated in their life, being comfortable, making sure that like, there's so many things that are holding us back, right? From being able to do the work like the way that we were doing it before COVID. So we want to take that workspace now into the home. That's such a different thing, but that's such a huge focus. So right now we have so many different clients who are coming to us and saying, okay, I have kids in this space. Is there any, like, send me a picture. Like, is there anything else that I can do with this other space? And those are the kinds of real world problem solving with design challenges that we want to do. Because I mean, that's what we're here for, is that problem solving element ends up being our whole, reason for being.
So back in regards to, in regards to home staging, are there any tips or for like sellers, or even like advice that you would give to realtors in regards to, home staging?
For homeowners, I would definitely say, budgeting time is always critical. So we focus on what's visible. Don't focus on what's not visible. If it's behind a cabinet or behind, a closet door, like, don't work on that. Work on the things that are the most visible things that the buyers may see, because like, we're all busy, everybody's busy, and getting, some of the sellers just don't have either the time or the resources to be able to check everything off the list that we would like them to check off the list. So it's about getting them to be focused on what's really important. So I would say that being like the visible things first is probably the number one tip that I would give to homeowners. And for realtors, I think different tip. I laugh because, working in real estate for 16 years, a lot of the same things come up again and again. Many agents are islands unto themselves, meaning that they incur all of the expenses of marketing and all of this. So staging can seem like an expense that they don't need, But one of the best thing that I can say about staging is that when you can provide a professional home staging service for your clients, you can ask for more commission, because you're making money that could not be made without it. I mean, we're talking about 12 to 18%. I mean, I'm looking at you, Ayana, and remembering that, we virtually staged a property for you that got $40,000 over asking, and the asking wasn't low, so,
oh, yeah.
So when we,
oh, yes.
So, right. So when we know that these things are possible, I think for realtors, it might be, get to know a stager, reach out, meet someone who can do that kind of business with you, because it can only elevate your business. Otherwise, when we're going hard in the other direction, we're just cutting off services to cheapen our business. What I say is, let's offer them more. Let's just give them more, because when we do that, everybody makes more money.
So to the point. Absolutely. Absolutely. So how can folks reach out to you if they're interested more in your services?
Oh, well, they can find us on our website, personalspace.biz. They can find us on Facebook at Home Beautified. There's a variety of ways to, sort of find me, because I'm in Windsor all the time doing different things. Any way that people would want to get in touch with us, we're very available and ready to help and talk. Even if we can't do the job immediately, we can always talk to you about your challenge and give you, somewhere to go. Even if, because I know a lot of the things that we deal with are very immediate. They need help right now. And so, for you guys, I want you to know that we are always available to help our clients. And even if that means giving away good advice for free, we're always willing, because we live in this community. And when the homes sell for higher prices, we all win.
Absolutely.
I love that. That's a quote. That's a sound bite. We're going to have to grab that, and you can use that on your social media as well. Elizabeth, this is just, I don't know, priceless information that you share with us today. We can't thank you enough for biting, a little chunk of your time, which is priceless, again, to share with us, share with our viewers. This platform is so new for us. So for you to come on so early in the game with us, we're just forever appreciative. And
thank you.
we thank you. We really do. Amazing.
That's my great pleasure. Thank you so much. You know how proud I am of both of you.
And you will have to come back and join us, especially when we are on location.
Can't wait.
Because that's coming. This Zoom in is great, but it's temporary.
Temporary.
It's
Let me get that
temporary.
vaccine.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So are we gonna segue?
Well, I wanted to just mention real quick, if any of our viewers are looking for some interior design assistance, you can definitely reach out to Personal Space Interior Design directly. And if you're thinking about listing your home, you can also reach out to Ayana and myself and to talk to you a little bit more about how we can provide those services. These are services that we also provide. And we would be happy to come out and meet with you and put a plan in place. So definitely just give us a call. You can reach us on social media, email, phone, text. Awesome.
We're around, aren't we?
We are.
There's been no other time than people have been so accessible on social media. We're around. So exciting to go into the next segment of our show, which our viewers have been having a lot of fun with, and that is Ask a Realtor. So I'm going to ask this question coming from Caitlin from Suffield. And she asks, do all realtors provide staging?
That is a great question. And since we are talking about home staging, I want to invite Elizabeth to answer this for us. Since you own a real estate agency and, a staging company, do all realtors provide this type of service?
No, all realtors don't provide this type of service. In fact, most realtors don't provide this service, for the reasons that I was explaining before. It tends to be very expensive. And only when we have the kind of leverage, that can be created by, relationships with stagers, can that kind of, reduce the price. So I find that when we are experts as realtors and we're talking about the kind of staging that we can provide, then the seller will really understand, but the seller might not understand what staging is without the help of that realtor. So, for that reason, that's sort of its own obstacle. But yeah, most realtors do not provide staging. And I think it's in that kind of concept where maybe a lot of realtors try to keep a lot of the relationship with the client with themselves, because it's that kind of a job where you want to preserve the relationship that you have with your client. And so letting other people into that relationship can sometimes be scary. And I think that's why many realtors don't endeavor to take on additional expenses like the expense of staging. But, it's one of those things that it's an amazing leveraged investment, as both of you have seen, so, that's why.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Ayana, can you share with us what's the pulse on the market right now in 2021?
The pulse of the market right now, as we're sitting in the spring market, is that it's hot. There's no other word to describe it. And there's no other way to say it. It's hot, Right now it's still limited inventory. There's just, we're all working with so many eager buyers, and it's exciting. Sure. And the weather is getting better for us, but the inventory is low. So, my suggestion for anyone who's thinking about selling, call your realtor. And if you don't have a realtor yet, call one of us.
Absolutely. So on that note, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for joining us on this deal today. Meet us back next month at the closing table, where we will be discussing the buying process, and we're going to have a mortgage lender here with us to chat a little bit more and give us a little insight. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.